Okay, we're going to reconvene our meeting of April 16th, and I assume the meeting was properly warned?
Yes, it was.
Super. I'd like a motion, if we could, to approve the meeting minutes of April 12th and April 11th.
I move to approve the minutes from April 2nd and April 11th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, the minutes have been approved. As everybody in the audience and TV land will notice, we have 2 missing members tonight, but we told them we would carry on, so we will. Yeah, we're going to try to carry on. Now we'll go to town manager's remarks. Barb, do you have anything?
Just to let the public know that we will be having a public meeting on the downtown sidewalk project. As people know, we're working on replacement of the downtown sidewalks from the Gilbert Memorial Bridge to Walnut Street on the east side of the road. And the public meeting is going to be April 25th. It's going to be 6 p.m. in this room, the Select Board meeting room. At that meeting, excuse me, we will be able to give an update on the status of the project. There will be conceptual plans for people to look at. So we're letting people know through this. We're also sending out a press release, and we are contacting business owners and residents through other means. But will be an opportunity for people to give feedback into the conceptual design for the sidewalk project. Again, April 25th, 6 p.m., right here in the Select Board meeting room. So that's next Thursday, I believe. Yep, next Thursday.
Super, thank you. Do any of the members of the board have any comments?
I have one. I noticed the water quality in Brattleboro was found to have no problems whatsoever. It's clean and safe. So just point that out and thank the people that take care of keeping us safe.
Super.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move to public participation. This is a chance for anybody in the audience to speak about anything that is not on the agenda. So if you're interested, we can give each person a few minutes. And if you'd like to come up to the microphone and just state your name and town and whatever you want to say to us. Is there anybody out there? No, everybody's here for something. Okay, we'll move on to liquor commissioners.
We move into liquor commissioners.
Perfect, thank you.
Grammar around that is.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, all those in favor of moving into liquor commissioners?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3-0. We're going to liquor commissioners.
First up is a first-class liquor license and outdoor consumption permit. This is for the Tavern Restaurant, and I believe Shamir Patel is here, and I'm going to quickly turn it over to you so that you can give pronounce the name of your LLC for me as well.
LLC.
Currently, the tavern has a first-class liquor and outside consumption permit, and I believe you are in the process of purchasing or have purchased?
No, we are in the process. We are anticipating closing, if everything goes well, by end of this month, if not within second week of May.
Great. And this has been approved by the police department and the fire department. The fire department gets involved when there are outdoor consumption permits.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're going to serve at the restaurant? Or
Basically, we're keeping the same menu, same alcohol beverages. To be quite honest, we're in the hotel business. We are not in the restaurant business. It's good to have a restaurant because it provides an extra amenity that most hotels you just can't walk in and have a restaurant right there on site. So what we plan on doing is once we take over to actually sublease the restaurant to an individual who has experience in that. Currently, I'm not sure if any board member has gone to the tavern to eat. It actually has a very good menu and an extensive wine selection. So we want to keep that. We're not looking to turn it into a fast food burger joint. We don't want high traffic. So basically, we're not going to be changing anything. The decor, everything will stay the same. There's 2 managers that currently work there. We're going to keep them on until we find a suitable person to take over the lease.
Great.
Super. Does anybody have any questions?
Just wish you luck. I
Thank
hope
you.
It goes very well.
Thank you. Looking forward to moving to Brattleboro.
Great. Would somebody like to make a motion
So moved.
to approve,
Liquor and outdoor service licenses.
right, can you pronounce it one more time?
Sure. Vivek, IN.
Vivek Ion,
Yeah?
all
There
right.
you go.
Also known as or doing business as the Tavern. All right, so we have that motion. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Nope. So congratulations
Thank you.
and good luck.
Thank you very much.
I move to adjourn as liquor commissioners.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Now we need
Move to convene as water and sewer commissioners.
all those in favor of convening as water and sewer commissioners?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. We're water and sewer.
Ricky Beer and Hannah O'Connell are here, and in the board packets you have the monthly report from Hoyle Tanner Engineering. They're reporting on the finishing up of the work at the wastewater treatment facility, as well as the work that's happening on with regard to the pump stations at Springtree and the gravity line at Black Mountain Road. And with that, I'll turn it over to Hannah and Rick.
Down at the main plant, things are really winding down. The loader went away, the excavator went away. The only thing left on site is one small crane. They're working in the last 2 buildings, which is the digester building and the dewatering building. And they're also going through other areas where we identified things that we want corrected on the punch list. So they've been working on that for quite a while. Tomorrow, we're going to do those 2 buildings to give them some more stuff to work on. Their goal is to be out of there at the end of the month. And they've been pushing really hard. I mean, they'll have to come back for like seeding the lawn and that kind of thing. But the main thing will be done and there won't be anybody permanently on site. Hopefully, that's their goal, at the end of the week. As far as change orders, they're very small. One was for an extra computer jack in the lab. We had to relocate a fire alarm box that wasn't in a very good spot. When you went to flip on the light, it hit the fire alarm box. We deleted some painting, a 3rd coat of paint in a couple of the old buildings. It looks pretty good the way it is, and they are old buildings. And we had a little bit of additional lighting put into the old garage and the digester building. So altogether, $1,000 for all the changes with the credits and the inclusion.
Well, the board normally wouldn't have to approve
No.
the amount of changes of under 5,000 because this is winding down. We're getting to, it's actually the main point of this coming before the board is to authorize me to sign the subsequent change orders that come.
So, speak about Springtree. They're continuing work down there. They've continued to submit various processes, etc. They've been storing parts and pieces on site. And last Wednesday, they started the replacement of the interior force main. They've got to shut down the pump station and utilize pump trucks to
Bypass pump.
bypass. And everything took a little bit longer than I expected, but it went as planned.
Yep, they did a good job. They had planned well in ahead. There was a couple little bumps in the road that we were a little upset with, but as far as the work in the building, it was as planned and they did a good job.
And the Black Mountain gravity line is still in the design phase. We've been meeting with some geotechnical drilling companies to further our knowledge of what's under 91 for soils and moving forward.
Super.
Well, I move to approve the project change to the wastewater treatment facility upgrade project in the amount of $1,042, and authorize the town manager to sign any subsequent change orders.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
So no one's opposed, I assume, so 3-0, motion passes.
And the next is the financials on the project, and the finance director, John O'Connor, wasn't able to be at this meeting. I can address, or try to address any questions that you might have. What you see on the list of financials, just so you can see, is the change orders that are in process. And then you have potential changes. And if you look to the right-hand column, you'll see that some of these that were just approved by Public Works, approved by the select board, those will then become change orders. Okay, they'll move up to the potential changes, become then change orders. The engineer representing the town is negotiating with Pizzagalli, our PC Construction, a revision of some of those additions that they have. Those have yet to come before the board because they're still being revised. You'll then see that there's a list of things that the engineer is recommending that we not approve, and so those probably will not come before the board. You'll see that there are some things that have been closed out because we're not interested, or that there have been things that were, and then you'll see a list of things that are under discussion, and we'll see, those are just kind of at the beginning of discussions.
So when it says it's not recommended, they're not recommending that the work is done.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Either they're not recommending the work is done, or they're saying it was part of the original
Okay.
contract.
So we shouldn't be paying extra for it.
Right, so we wouldn't be paying extra for it.
Okay.
And the reason we give those to you is just so you have it's kind of a little bit of, so in advance you see kind of what's happening, what's being discussed. that type of thing.
Super.
Okay, and we don't require any action on that.
All right.
At this point, it looks like it's still more than $2 million under projected cost for the plant.
For the plant, we anticipate being under $1 million under on the plant. However, that $1 million will be utilized for the gravity line for Black Mountain Road. So the cost of the pump stations and the upgrade of the pump stations, as well as the wastewater treatment plant, will come in on. Oops. We're going to have to start over. It was on point. We'll come in on budget.
Super.
Okay. And then the final sheet that you have in here just shows the various sources of funding and the drawdowns that we've done and what funding is available. So you can see that we have the money that we're still drawing from is the recovery zone bond.
Super. Any questions?
The numbers.
Do folks have anything that would be of
More
interest to
Hannah.
us?
So far, it looks good, like we're gonna come in
Yeah.
on or under budget.
Great.
Super.
When everything is done, both pump stations and everything.
That's so good.
Hope that's the way we're headed.
Now that you said it on TV, it's got to be true.
Well, it should be. We've worked hard to get it there.
Yes, yeah.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Very much.
I move to adjourn as Water and Sewer Commissioner.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. We're moving right along to new business.
Monthly financial report. As I said earlier, John is not here. I would be happy to answer any questions. In summary, we appear still in, this is for the period ending March 31st, we appear to still be on target with expenditures and revenue in the general fund. We also appear to be on on target with regard to the utilities and also with the parking fund. Because of some new board members and there not being a lot on the agenda, I thought I would take just a brief moment to talk about the different budgets that we have. And to remind people that this information is all available online, or if you'd like a hard copy, you can just let Jan know if you ever want to see the information. But you can follow us on the computer as well. The first 17 pages are the general fund. Those are the general operating costs that for the main work that we do here as the municipality. You can see the various, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, a lot of the revenue, where it comes from. The majority of our revenue of the $14.6 million budget, of that about $13 million comes from property taxes. The other 1.5 comes from other sources. The expenditures then are typically broken down by department, so you can see the various departments. The one difference that we do have between departments is the municipal center is its own department, whereas the fire department, the library, rec and parks, they have their building in their budgets. Okay, so we have talked in the past about the possibility of allocating municipal costs to the different departments that reside in the municipal center, and kind of looking at that. There are various ways of doing that, allocating it by square footage, things like that, and that may be something we want to look at. The other thing that you will notice is that while salaries and overtime expenses are in the individual departments, benefits are a separate department. And we again have talked, and we are looking into actually splitting those costs out among departments. The only reason to do that, one of the reasons to do that, is so you get a more true cost of the actual operating of a particular department. The other thing that we do not split out is some of our risk management. We don't split out our workers' comp or our liability insurance, those types of things, property liability insurance, and those two are things that we're actually looking at splitting out. One of the things that you lose when you make a change like that in your budget is then you lose a little bit of the history, because you can't move the history to the new department, and so you'll have a couple of years where it's a little bit harder to kind of compare one year to the next. But I think as we move forward, I think it would make sense. You can go to even another level of extreme. If you want to say, okay, what's the cost? You can take all your overhead costs, which would be your finance, your town manager, and split those between departments as well. We do that to some degree with our enterprise funds. You'll notice under revenue that we have transfers in, and those transfers in are from the utility fund, the parking fund, and those are to pay for. You'll see some of it, utilities and parking pays for dispatch services, and they also pay for legal and accounting services. So we do it to some degree with our enterprise funds. With that, I would, if there are any questions on the general fund budget, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have at this point.
I noticed that the revenues are ahead of expectations at this point. Is there any reason to think that won't continue?
That tends to be because of the way the accounting is, the way the property taxes are accounted for is once they're billed, they're put in here as a receipt. And so after that first bill in August, you'll see that current taxes in there. So we're always a little bit ahead on that. So one of the things that I look at is, I'll look at the things like where are some of the other line items, the non-property tax line items. So for instance, how are we doing in, library? They seem to be doing pretty well. I believe the town clerk put in her memo, her monthly memo, she's concerned that she's going to be behind. She's not going to raise the projected revenue. Dog licenses are down this year, and the fees are down a little bit, so she's projecting to be a little behind in revenue on that. I think
Parks and Rec was too.
Yeah, Parks and Recs, they have a couple of items, although theirs is always a little bit harder because some of their seasons are split. So for instance, they will sell their pool passes now. So they're 61% with pool. Well, they're actually probably on target to be fine with that.
I was referring to the report.
Oh, right. So, if there's nothing else in the next report you have is your utilities report. The accounting for that is different in that in two kind of specific ways. One is, as I said, with property taxes, when we bill it, we put it in, show it as being kind of being received. With our sewer and water payments, we're always in arrears with that, so we should be at 50% of our collections, because we just sent out the third payment, I believe Monday of this week, or the third quarter payment. So where you can see from that, we're a little behind in the rents. We're at about 48%, 49%. However, sewer rents follow water rents, and water is seasonal. You will see more water used in the hotter months, so you anticipate being a little bit behind at this time of the year because you've just gotten off over the winter months. The other main difference with regard to your enterprise funds is depreciation. Depreciation, although it's not a non-cash item, is shown as an expense. And page 4 of 5, you'll note that the total cost of depreciation in the utilities fund is $1.6 million. Part of that has to do with their depreciation increases as you replace things, because you're now depreciating new equipment. That is the reason under utilities fund, under the budget, there's actually a negative of expenses. Revenue minus expenses is actually in the negative. It's due to that non-cash item of depreciation. And we really, because of the new equipment, et cetera, we wouldn't be at a place where we would be raising rents to cover the depreciation, because it would not be anticipated that you would replace the equipment down at the wastewater treatment plant with cash you have on hand. So if you would take the depreciation out, you would see that we'd be in a positive place, and that is actually where we would expect to be, because as an enterprise fund, we should be seeing a profit so that we can be paying down the debt service as we continue to have new debt come on and payments come on due to the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. So I'd be happy to take any questions on that. Third is the parking fund. The parking fund, we like it because it's basically one page. It too is an enterprise fund. It currently is actually operating pretty much on target. Permits are a bit behind, although Again, the timing of when permits go out has a little bit to do with where we should be, but we are a bit behind in our permits.
But you're up on the boot income.
Yes, our boot income. Boot income is up. That is about 5 lines down from the top.
Oh, I see.
People are using their smart cards, but
Yes.
they're getting the boot.
You will too see seasonal fluctuations, some seasonal fluctuations in your meter revenue.
Well, I would imagine the meter revenue is going to go up with those extra spots in the lot, which name I can't remember.
Preston.
Preston, thank you.
Again, depreciation, you'll see depreciation because it's an enterprise, $266,000. In your enterprise funds, one of the things you'll notice, another difference actually, just to go back to that between your enterprise funds and your regular funds, you'll also note that you don't have your, you only have, what is it, bond interest. You don't show the principal in here. And part of your depreciation is also going to offset the bond principal that you have. What you don't see by looking at the revenue expenses, but you would see if you were looking at audits and balance sheets, are the fact that the depreciation of 266 covers our principal payment is about $200,000 a year. So with that, the parking looks like we're doing pretty well. The next then that we have is the monthly loan report. These are and you'll note in the upper left corner of each of the boxes, it tells you what type of loan we have. We have disaster recovery loans, the rental housing, which is our RHIP, small business assistance, the SBAP, the revolving loan fund, and then we have our VCDP, first generation active and first generation deferred. First generation is just an indication that this is new money coming from, there was a CDBG grant that came from the state, and it's kind of new money. We haven't relent this money as part of the revolving loan fund. In that, with the the revolving loan fund, other is actually the second generation monies. Deferred, just most of our loans that we do through CDBG, and probably all of our loans that we do through CDBG are deferred for a period of time. The 3 that are up, let's say first generation active, those are getting payments. The rest, you'll see that the deferred date ranges anywhere from 2032 to 2039. And the most important part is that you'll see that most of our loans are current, and that's the last column on the right. We do have a few that are maybe one late. We just to let the board know, SBAP, the carbon harvest, that is late, and we are watching that one a little more closely right now. And then the long sheets of paper is the grant master list. And that's to give you an idea of kind of what grants we have, where they're at, where they're from, what they're for, and how we're doing with spending them. And then there are notes at in the last column. One of the things, taking out, not considering our CDBG grants, the town has for each year about over $1 million in grants. So we have a very, very, very active grant program. And as you'll see, the grants range from very small amounts to larger amounts. And this, again, is just to give, monthly you'll get this report. It's to give you an idea of kind of where we're at, how things are going. It's just basically to try to give you as much information as possible. So I don't know if they're, this is small print. It's actually easier to read than it used to be. So, and I don't know if there would be any questions on that.
This is very helpful, very helpful.
I noticed the grants manager resigned.
Yes, and we're looking for a new grants manager.
A lot of grants to manage.
Yes. And yeah, we've had a lot of improvements. The last time in our financial audit last year, there was one outstanding finding that we still had, and it was with regard to some of our grant management. And this year, the financial audit, which we're going to be giving out actually for the May meeting, you'll see that we have no outstanding findings and no new findings. There's been great strides made in the accounting of our grants.
Do you have any questions? Does anybody out sitting in our audience have any questions? Okay, thank you, Barb. That was very helpful. We will move on to adoption of the select board goals. We had a meeting just last week, wasn't it?
Thursday.
On Thursday.
Last Thursday.
Seems like forever ago. Where we as a board came up with goals. And we talked about them. Barb has put them in a fashion that's understandable. So I don't know if Ken or David have any, do you have any questions or concerns
I agree.
about
I think
them?
you took our conversation and turned it into complete sentences.
Yeah, I think that just to be clear, even though not everybody is here, this articulation of the goals is completely consistent with what we all agreed upon last Thursday.
Yeah, I think so too.
So normally I would hesitate for 3 to approve the goals of
Yeah.
5, but it's, other than some really minor word changes, this is where we were.
Yeah.
Right, then I move the adoption of the goals.
All in favor of adopting?
Should we see if people have comments?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Does anybody in the audience have comments about our goals?
Do we
Like to
have
hear
them?
'em.
Yeah, do we have them to give out? Or?
Yeah, we can get copies for folks, but just for the people at home, again, they are on the website, but other folks, there are about 7 areas of, that the board looked at. The first was financial matters, and this is really the kind of the biggest goal in breadth and depth. And one is to review all town departments to ensure select board is fully versed in all services. B, to look for efficiencies and determine if services are affordable. C, to develop process of a year-round budgeting. And D, to lay the foundation for 2014-15 budget. And E, to investigate establishment of continuous improvement plan. It's a very large goal that has many parts and has many moving parts, and I think one of the
It's going
things,
to take a long time.
right, I think one of the things that the board was very clear on is that they wanted it to be broad because they want to look at all aspects of the finances.
Is it possible to put this, I mean, if it's in today's minutes, the minutes from today's meeting, then somebody could find it there, but if that's, is it possible to put a separate little link on the select board page saying
Sure.
2013 goals and click on it and go
Sure.
directly to the document?
Yep, that'd be easy.
Great, thanks.
The second under financial matters is revenue generation, looking to maximize collections on all available methods, review payment for services, work with the state government on alternative funding sources, and to review the payment in lieu of tax program. The second general area was project oversight, and that's specifically oversight of the police fire project. Third is purchasing, to look at contractors' commitment to local hiring. The fourth area was economic development, and there are four things under this. Increased emphasis on attracting, developing new businesses and business opportunities, to develop better relations with businesses in town to assist with growth, to continue investigation of implications associated with being a regional hub, regular meetings in collaboration with the Downtown District Organization, BABB, And the fifth is to increase collaboration with BDCC, the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation, and the Chamber of Commerce. Fifth area was under the town plan was aligning services and policies with the town plan. And the second is to update the committee orientation documents to incorporate in the relevant part to incorporate in relevant parts of the town plan. I need to reword that a little bit. Then we have the next category is operations. Town's response to substance abuse is the first item. The second is to work with the administration or staff to ensure continued work on creation/implementation of a culturally inclusive policies and practices. And then we have our miscellaneous or other duties as assigned. One is a focus on board collegiality. Two is improving communications, public participation, and that includes, although is not limited to, public participation practices in the public process. The third is the continue to look at the downtown improvement district. The fourth is the archery building. The fifth is a 360 evaluation process, and the sixth is to plan the committee orientation. And those are the board goals.
Those are our goals. Does anyone in the audience want to say something?
Well, it's very helpful. I didn't have the page, so I'm sorry I had to read it, but
No, thank
I was
you.
able to read along.
That's fine.
Yeah, there was an extra word or something.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
When
Incorporate
you
them.
say public...
Oh, do you want to go up to the microphone? Just, the only reason you go to the microphone is so the TV people can hear you.
And introduce yourself,
Yeah,
please.
Peter Vanderdos, and obviously I live here in Brattleboro. I'm wondering, when it says public participation practices, what would be the method if we wanted to have a town-wide vote on a question? How do you implement that?
That's in the
Charter.
I was going to say, I mean, you can articulate better, but that's when we had that conversation, we weren't necessarily thinking along those lines, because something like that is indicated in the charter, how you go about having a townwide vote on an issue.
Right.
So we, and we can certainly talk about that, we were talking more about how do public interact with our meetings, and then for any issues that affect specific communities, how do we have more of a public process, because it was a phrase that we threw around a lot in the past couple of years without really defining it. But something like you're
I think that would be
speaking
a very public process, though. If there was some issue,
Sure.
let's say that, like for instance, when they had the pay for the garbage,
the pay as you throw, yeah.
it pay as you throw. What is the so what I wanted to know was, and you're the only people I know who to ask, what is the process to implement that?
It depends. Again, the charter, the town charter, which is the governing body of the town, both the municipality and the school, the town Big T, is really where you need to go. And I'm not trying to be vague, but it depends on what you're asking and to which amendment you might go to. I would recommend there are two places you can go to. One is the town clerk's office, and at Cappy can help work with that if people are looking to do a petition to get something onto a townwide vote. She's very good at that. That's part of her role. The other would be the town manager's office and myself. But we'd need to have, actually, it would be something you'd probably want to sit down and actually have
Because
a
I think if there was
discussion.
more public participation like that, there would be more public participation in here.
Sure.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Just a couple comments. What we're talking about is getting information out, not sort of making people have to search for it, but be able to find it. Like Barb just, I think it's 2 weeks until the sidewalk, the first meeting about the sidewalk project, and we're already telling people about it and getting it published, or getting it publicized. And I can't think of the other thing right now. We're trying to get information out ahead of time rather than having people have to kind of struggle and look for it and say, oh, I didn't know that was happening because we didn't make it obvious enough. Well, the other example is to put the goals on an easy to find link on the website, just to make it easy for people to get information.
Super. Does anyone else want to, since we're talking about public participation? Did you start write a motion, David?
I did, yeah, to approve the select board goals for 2013.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one's opposed, so it's 3-0. We have our goals.
That was easy question.
It's good to have goals. Now we want to, oh yes. We have the Police Fire Committee. And Barb can,
Yeah, at the April 2nd meeting, the decision was made to allow the select board representative to the police fire committee vote at the meetings. It was brought to my attention that actually that is prohibited. Board members are prohibited from voting on committees in which all committee members are appointed by the select board. So the board is actually asked to correct the motion made by the April 2nd meeting. For some clarification, there are committees then that board members, select board members are a member of, but they can vote. Traffic safety is a committee that a board member is a member of, and the board member is able to vote on that committee because the members are not all appointed by the select board. The Capital Grant Review Committee is another committee in which board members are members of the committee and are able to vote because they are not all appointed by the select board. So with that, I appreciate being, when errors like that happened or things like that happen, I greatly appreciate when people point them out so that we can correct them rapidly.
And thus,
And just to be clear too, the committee will be meeting for the first time this Thursday, so there has not been a meeting, there has not been a meeting in which the board member voted.
and thus I motion to remove the voting privilege of the select board member liaison to the Police Fire Facility Committee in conformance with the Brattleboro Town Charter.
any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Nope.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go right ahead.
Can the select board vote on something if not all the members are present?
We need 3 of us, and all
I
3
see.
have to agree. If it's a 2-1 vote, it fails, so we have just enough.
And I guess I would just, even though I will read it later when we get to the events, just to remind folks that that meeting on Thursday at 4 is open to anyone who wants to go.
Perfect. Okay, now we have some committee vacancies, and we have some appointments to committees. Barb, you can explain the difference between why we're doing some and not another, or we got to discuss whether we want to do the vacancy ones, you know what I'm talking
Right,
about?
we have been, well, just to start off, there are 4 committees that we have advertised most recently for. There's been an advertisement out probably for over a month now, seeking members. One is the skateboard committee. The second is the Citizen Police Communication Committee. The third is the Development Review Board as an alternate. And the fourth is the Honor Roll Committee. These committees the vacancies occurred a bit ago. They went through the process of being, as per the charter, being advertised, and the board announced the vacancies, and we sought applications. So with these 4 committees, we have applications. We have people who've applied to be on those committees. Later on, we just received, the next item is going to be talking about other committee vacancies. We just received, prior to this meeting, resignations from two other committees, and we'll talk about those later. So that people know, in May, we will start at July 1 is kind of the turnover for all of our committees when terms expire. And so in May, we'll do a bigger advertisement. We work with the Reformer, is typically really good about doing an article on the different committees, so that people know what opportunities are available for participation. We do that in May. The board normally will hold, if necessary, interviews in June, and will make the appointments in June so that the committees, so that the members then are able to start right away in July. And so that's kind of our annual time. Most committees have term lengths. Not all members of the committee expire at the same time, hopefully. And so that's kind of the normal process. But obviously throughout the year, you're going to have people who, for a variety of reasons, need to leave a committee or resign from a committee, and then that resignation comes back to the board. So at this point, as I said, we have the skateboard committee. There were 2 people who have applied. Joe Bushy, Naomi Polika. I'm sorry, I couldn't read it. I couldn't see the 2 L's. The Citizen Police Communication Committee, James Van Slaben. The Development Review Committee, Naomi Polika. And the Honor Roll Committee is James Van Slaven.
And we also have the select board member to the Wyndham Solid Waste too, is that right, too?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And there's also the Solid Waste Committee. I apologize, I didn't have that.
Okay.
Right, and
David wanted to do that.
if you want me to talk about the Wyndham Solid Waste, I don't know if you want to take that first or not. The Wyndham Solid Waste, the town is a member of the Wyndham Solid Waste District. We have two members. The first, we have the one member, and then the second is the alternate. Dave Schools has expressed an interest as a representative. Dora Bubalis has served on that, as has Jane Southworth. Jane Southworth is saying she'll be stepping down, and so I would request that David Schools be made one of the representatives, and then Dora continue on as the alternate.
So moved.
So Jane had asked to stay?
That her
Okay.
is done.
Okay. Ken has moved that David Scholes be appointed as the member, and Dora Bubalis will continue on as alternate. Are we all in favor of that? Signify by saying aye. Aye. Congratulations, David. 3-0. You are the new member of the Solid Waste Management District. Now, do you want to move through the other ones? Are you folks ready?
No.
Okay.
I need 1 second.
Okay. If you...
I need to just rotate my screen.
Oh, Ken has to
Okay,
rotate.
I'm good.
Okay, do you want to start, do it in alphabetical order?
Yes, please.
We can do basic, the Brattleboro Area Skate Park is coming board. We have 1 vacancy. Anyone like to make nominate anybody?
Are either of these people here?
No, is anybody here that's applying for any of these boards? No?
Just to remind the board, the process, and the citizens as well,
Yeah.
that the process is a person is nominated. You can nominate however many people you would like, and then there's a vote on each of the people. You can vote as many for each person as you can vote as often as you like as well. And the votes are only in the affirmative. You don't have to vote. You don't vote against anyone. That's always the awkward.
So, does anyone want to make any nominations for the basic board?
Yes.
Nominate Joe Bushy. He sent a letter in, so I know a little about him.
William J. Bushy
Bushy
III.
III.
We have to...
Do it.
Is that it? Any more nominations? Okay. All those in favor of William J. Bushy III, raise your hands.
Right.
William J. Bushy III is the new member of BASIC.
And I nominate James Van Slavin to the Citizens Police Communications Committee.
Okay. Any more nominations for the Citizens Police Communications Committee? Okay, all those in favor of James Van Slavin, say aye. Okay, James is the new member of the Citizens Police Communication Committee. Now we have the Development Review Board alternate. Do we have
Naomi Polika.
okay, Naomi Polika? Any more nominations? Okay, all those in favor of Naomi Polika? Naomi is the new member of the Development Review Board. She's the alternate. Can you do it?
Pardon?
Can we do it?
You can hold on that.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Super. Okay. So we've done those now, and we're going to. Do we have to make a decision whether we wait on these other ones? I'm assuming.
Yeah, the next item then is, we did receive 2 new resignations. One is from William J. Bushy III from the West River Park, and the other is Sarah Rice. Wow, I just drew a blank on that name. I apologize. From the Town Arts Committee. These vacancies, the board, these vacancies come before the board. They're accepted by the board, and then the board decides when, if they want to advertise, when they want to advertise, when they want applications to be in, and when they're going to interview. Normally, when we get to this time, April 16th, and because of May, we're going to be looking at these, and these positions expire June 30th of at the end of June. I would request that the board just hold off on filling these positions, and then we can, they would just become part of the normal process that will begin within the next couple weeks. If that's, but if the board would like to fill them, you can also move forward and seek applications.
But can I, I'm sure William J. Bushy III was great at the West River Park Committee, but I do want to give a special commendation to Sarah Rice, who was a member of the Town Arts Committee and then chair of the Town Arts Committee, and I served with her on the Town Arts Committee, and she's an amazing presence in town, and among her many accomplishments was integral in the creation of the concrete quilt in the High Grove parking lot, and she painted one of the panels, and I know that she will continue working with me as we add to it this summer. So she was a great member of the committee, fantastic chair of the committee.
Thank you. Okay, we're down to correspondence.
So,
Yes, we're just going to delay.
thank you.
Again, normally we kind of pass through this, but just bring the attention to the new board and new year for the citizens out there as well. Under correspondence or FYI, there are 3 different items. The first is something that is always under correspondence, and that's the list of warrants, and the warrants are basically the bills that have been paid. The bills are the warrants are reviewed by one board member who's assigned that task, who goes through them and then signs off on them, and then the package comes before the board in case there are any questions that other board members may have about any of the bills that have been paid by the town. The second item is department monthly reports. The departments, on a monthly basis, hence the name, report to the board. We try to use a format of kind of summary of major activities or work projects, any meetings, communications, events that they may be involved in, any kind of budget concerns, any staffing changes, any particular challenges that may be coming the way. And this is just an opportunity for the board to speak directly to, or for this, the department has to speak directly to the board. These also are under supporting documentation online. So if people would like to see these, this would also be information that you would be able to see through the website. Or if you would be interested at any point, just contact the town manager's office. They are always the second meeting of the month they're put in.
They're very helpful.
And then the third item has been a part of the board packets for many years now, and I was actually trying to think of what board this started under. It is when it is the Vermont Yankee Quarterly Report. This is in response to litigation going on with the state and Vermont Yankee power plant, and the town. Because of our location, we are an interested party, and the town attorney, Fisher and Fisher law offices, every quarter, again, that's why it's called the quarterly report, gives an update on things that might be happening with that, with all the various litigation that is going on. And that is why those are in there. And then one other piece that's actually, does actually come monthly as well, is the Brooks Memorial Library Board of Trustee meeting minutes, which has quite a bit of information in it, although a lot of that information is summarized in the library director's report. So you don't have to read as much.
Read the summary. Any questions? Ken, want to do the minutes? Or meetings?
Sure.
Minutes.
This Thursday, April 18th, as mentioned, at 4 p.m., the Police Fire Facility Building Committee will be meeting for the first time in the Hannah Cosman meeting room. All are welcome to attend. On Monday, April 22nd at 5:30 p.m., the Citizens Police Communications Committee will be meeting in the Brooks Memorial Library Community Room. And also on Monday the 22nd at 6 p.m., the Planning Commission will be meeting here in the Select Board meeting room. On Tuesday, April 23rd at 8:30 a.m., the Traffic Safety Committee will be meeting in the Select Board meeting room. Also on Tuesday, April 23rd at 4:30 p.m., the Finance Committee will be meeting in the Select Board meeting room. Also on Tuesday, April 23rd at 5:15 p.m., the Conservation Commission will be meeting in the Hannah Cosman room. On Thursday, April 25th at 6 p.m., as Barb mentioned earlier, is the Downtown Sidewalk Project public meeting. Folks are strongly encouraged to attend here in the Select Board meeting room. On Monday, May 6th at 5 p.m., the Energy Committee will be meeting in the Hannah Cosman room. On Tuesday, May 7th at 6:15 p.m., the Select Board will hold our next regularly scheduled meeting here in the Select Board meeting room. And I move to adjourn.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Okay.
Aye. I can tell our colleagues we did it in less than an
Less
hour
than
without
an hour.
Wow.
We know who the holdups are now.
Thank you, everybody.
Brenda?
Yeah.
Yeah.